heard of the 173rd Airborne Brigade? How they jumped on the enemy like a falcon from the blue. A more gallant fighting soldier America never knew. Have you heard of the 173rd Airborne Brigade? They fought fearlessly, hand to hand, in the Central Highlands. Now their blood has stained the sands in the hills of Vietnam. Have you heard of the 173rd Airborne Brigade? How with their rifles cradled they descended from the sky. As their ripcord snapped their parachute, they screamed their battle cry. Have you heard of the 173rd Airborne Brigade? How they won a gallant victory on Hill 875. How they learned the price of freedom for 280 died. Have you heard of the 173rd Airborne Brigade? Now you've heard of the 173rd Airborne Brigade.
Amalgamated to the airborne, it's a state of being, it's a state of mind, a rite of passage. Our guest speaker today went to jump school in 1968 and then deployed to Vietnam with the 173rd Airborne Brigade separate, where he distinguished himself in combat causes. He's a celebrated entertainer. He's going to join me in a warm round of applause in welcoming our guest speaker, a distinguished American, a distinguished paratrooper, and a friend of the airborne, Mr. Britt Small.
Thank you, Colonel. General Cunningham, who's behind me back here, was my commanding general. So to all of you. My name is Britt Small. I served with the 173rd Airborne Brigade separate in Vietnam in 1970. I am airborne. I am a warrior. I am an American. I'm also an entertainer, a musician, and a band leader. When I was asked to speak to you today, I thought, what do I say to these young men and women? The members of my band, Festival, who are in the stands today, suggested that I talk about my experiences at jump school, and talk about my life, and talk about the things that I've achieved in my life, and talk about Vietnam. Well, I graduated from jump school on August the 1st, 1968. This was my jump log, this little Bible that we were given when we came into service. And I kept my jump log in the front of the Bible, and I carried it in my pocket when I jumped. Our graduation ceremonies were held in Infantry Hall, and graduating on the drop zone like this would have been a lot more fun. I'll never forget the two guys on either side of me during jump school, Shields, Small, and Staggs. I didn't run very well, and when I had trouble during the morning run, Shields and Staggs would keep me from falling down. For me, there was a turning point in jump school, which was also a turning point in my life. On Wednesday of Ground Week, I made the mistake of eating breakfast. At about halfway through the morning run, when we were right across the street from the NCO club, I got sick and dropped out to the side to throw up. Now, I don't know how things are now, but in those days, if you stopped moving, you were out. While I was down on my hands and knees throwing up, one of the black hats ran up behind me and started screaming at me about being out and being a leg if I didn't keep moving. And then he kicked me in the fourth point of contact with what I felt like a very large jump boot. And I got back up on my feet and started running again and caught back up with the formation where Shields and Staggs helped me out. We learned to survive as a team in jump school, but I never saw them again after that. So, remember the guys next to you. A couple of years ago, my band was performing at the NCO Club here at Fort Benning, and I took my wife and kids across the street from the club and showed them where my life had been changed because I didn't quit, and I got back up, and it changed my life forever. After jump school, I went to Fort Bragg, North Carolina, where I was an airborne military policeman, and one of my duties for several months in 68 and 69 was to be the field guard for Lieutenant General John J. Jumpin' Jack Tolson, while he was the commanding general of the 18th Airborne Corps. General Tolson was a nice man. I jumped with him, but I didn't know that much about him personally because I was just doing my job. Well, General Tolson died this past December, but I did get to see him one last time at the 1990 Airborne Awards Festival. He was an original member of the parachute battalions in 1941. He helped activate the 503rd Parachute Infantry Regiment, and he participated in all of the combat jumps made by that unit. He was an American hero and a legendary paratrooper, and I just wanted to tell you about him. During the Vietnam War, 4 battalions of the 503rd Airborne Infantry helped make up the 173rd Airborne Brigade. When I went to Vietnam in 1970, the 173rd was the only unit in Vietnam on jump status, and I definitely did not want to be in a leg outfit. So I lobbied hard to be sent to the herd. While I was in Vietnam, I didn't know much about the history of the unit. Oh, I knew we had made the only combat jump in Vietnam, and I knew about Doc Toe, and I knew that we had lost a lot of fine men. But there wasn't much time for history because we were just trying to survive. It wasn't until many years after I got back from Vietnam that I started going to airborne reunions and getting the static line in the mail. And I learned about the 173rd Airborne Brigade's 14 Congressional Medals of Honor and 6,000 Purple Hearts, of which I was only one. So when you get to your units, and as your military careers develop, learn the history of the units that you're in and learn about the heroes and the patriots around you. We have heroes and patriots here with us today. Men who liberated the world from tyranny 50 years ago. I hope you'll have the opportunity to meet and talk with some of them while they're here at Fort Benning. Let me say how glad I am to see young ladies in this graduating class. We fought against some very tough women in Vietnam, and the women who fought with us were brave, strong, invaluable, and beautiful. And we will be helping them dedicate their much-deserved memorial in Washington, D.C. next year. You ladies are history in the making. You are paving the way for those who follow. I salute your dedication, your tenacity, and your courage. After I got back from Vietnam and went back to college, got a bachelor's degree in music education, I put my group together. The name of the group is Festival, and they're sitting up there. And in 1973, we took on the road where we've been for the last 19 years together, and 1 million miles in that old Greyhound bus over there. We released 11 albums and 4 single records, performed at 8 different Las Vegas casinos, at 3 World's Fairs, and hundreds of state and county fairs. We've also performed at many veterans reunions, including the 173rd Airborne Brigade, the 101st Airborne Division, Special Forces, and the Ranger Battalions, twice at the American Legion National Convention, and at many VA hospitals and nursing centers all over the country. In 1982, we were the mystery group who stopped the fighting at the dedication of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C. by walking down into the crowd and singing and getting the veterans to sing along. In 1984, we performed a concert in front of the United States Capitol building during the dedication of the 3 Fighting Men statue. We were the featured entertainers during the 50th anniversary of the Airborne concert at RFK Stadium in July 1990.
It's my pleasure to introduce to you the star of our show, an American paratrooper and a Vietnam combat veteran with the 173rd Airborne Brigade. He's airborne all the way!
And we performed at the Airborne Awards Festival in Atlanta for the past 3 years. And for the last 8 years, we have been actively involved in trying to gain an accounting of all of our prisoners of war missing in action still left from World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. My group is a hardcore group. Several of the members of my group have even jumped out of the 35-foot towers here at Fort Benning. They definitely have the airborne spirit. My wife, Johnny Kay, who has managed my career for the last 16 years, has experienced both the 35-foot tower and the 250-foot tower. My 8-year-old daughter, Anna, who sings with me, has been feature on PBS performing in front of the Lincoln Memorial. And my 14-year-old son, Marty, who just received wings from the Colonel, has been performing with me since he was little, and in '82, he was with me at the Wall when he was only 5. Marty now plays third trumpet in the band, and he's also jumped out of the towers here at Bang. I have an airborne family. I've had a very exciting life. There have been many awards and accomplishments. I'm a Kentucky colonel, an admiral in the Nebraska Navy. I'm a past vice chairman of the National Vietnam Veterans Coalition and have received 2 awards, the Vietnam Veterans National Medal. I'm the president of Festival Family Enterprises, Maxed Out Records, Maxed Out Music, American Family Talent, and I'm the head of the festival family. This year I was chosen for Who's Who in Entertainment, Who's Who in America, and Who's Who in the World. And right now you're probably asking yourself, why is this old paratrooper telling me all of this crap? Well, I'll tell you why. Because of all of the things that I've accomplished in my life, other than my family, I'm the most proud of my silver wings. I will always wear my silver wings. You are now airborne. You are the best. And for the rest of your life, you will always be airborne. You have proven that you are willing to die for your country. By standing in the door, you have proven that you are willing to die for your country. But it's not good enough to be willing to die for your country. As a good friend of mine, Congressional Medal of Honor recipient Samuel Davis would say, it's not good enough to be willing to die for your country. You've got to be willing to live for your country as well. After your career in the United States Armed Forces is over, you have a responsibility to continue to live for your country. Be all that you can be, and continue the airborne spirit as you contribute to American society. From this day on, you will always be airborne, and no one can ever take that away from you. You have earned your silver wings. You are an American. You are a warrior. You are airborne.
Behold in the forest and field, his talons a quiver of arrows that bristle the stars of his shield. The thunder of heaven above him, the tumult of cities below. He reigns o'er a people that love him, enthroned on a summit of snow. One wing in the murmuring Atlantic, and one in the westering sea. His beak o'er the ice of the Arctic, his tail o'er the warm Caribbean. He nestles the brood of his eyrie, while deep in his sheltering breast, the talons of vigilance bury the arrows that guard his nest. His beak is the saber of justice, his eye is the light of a star. His scream is the triumph of freedom that muffles the clamor of war. Oh, higher and higher the eagle shall spread